Tom had always been cautious with his money. At 32, he was no stranger to the frustrations of working hard just to get by. His job as a freelance graphic designer gave him the flexibility to be his own boss, but it didn't come with the financial security he craved. Over the years, he had managed to save up a modest nest egg of $25,000, a sum he felt would provide a cushion for emergencies, a future home, or perhaps a small business venture. The world of cryptocurrency had always intrigued him, but he had never fully jumped into the space. It seemed like an endless maze of coins, tokens, and traders shouting about the next big thing. He had read about Bitcoin, Ethereum, and a handful of altcoins, but he never considered it as an investment. That was until he met Jake. Jake had been a friend of a friend, someone Tom met at a coffee shop about 6 months ago. At first, their conversations were casual, discussing everything from technology to politics, but over time, Jake began bringing up cryptocurrency more often. He spoke with such conviction, his eyes alight with excitement, that Tom couldn't help but get drawn into the conversation. "You know," Jake said one day as they sipped on their coffee at their now weekly coffee shop meet, "crypto is going to change the world. You've been missing out. If you had started just a year ago, you'd be sitting on a small fortune by now." Just a quick interruption. We hope you're enjoying these stories. It takes time to write them and create these videos, and your support means the world to us. If you're enjoying the content, we'd be incredibly grateful if you could take a moment to like and subscribe. It really helps us keep bringing you more stories. Thank you. Jake's words weren't just convincing, they were compelling. He spoke with the kind of certainty that made it hard to argue with. He mentioned a specific altcoin that had recently been gaining traction, a low-cap coin that was gaining attention on social media and certain niche forums. "It's primed for a breakout," Jake said, his fingers tapping on the table with enthusiasm. "I've already doubled my investment. You should get in now before it explodes." Tom, cautious by nature, was hesitant. "But I don't really know much about this coin or the crypto space in general. Isn't it risky?" he asked, furrowing his brow. Jake reassured him, explaining that it wasn't as risky as people thought, especially with a few reliable strategies and guidance. He mentioned that he had been in crypto for a few years and had made solid returns by following key indicators and understanding market psychology. "You just need someone with experience to guide you through it. I can help you set up everything, and we can grow your investment together." Tom had seen the volatility of the stock market and knew that investments could be a gamble. But the idea of turning his savings into something bigger, something more secure, was alluring. The thought of finally having financial freedom, of getting ahead, stirred a mix of excitement and fear within him. What if this was his chance? So, he took the plunge. Jake helped him set up an account on a new platform, a relatively obscure crypto exchange that Jake swore by. "Trust me, this one has fewer fees and better returns than the big names like Coinbase or Binance," Jake said. Tom, with a mixture of trepidation and excitement, transferred $15,000 of his savings into the platform and followed Jake's advice, buying the low-cap coin that had been gaining so much attention. For the first few days, things seemed to be moving in the right direction. The price of the coin started to climb slowly, nothing dramatic, but enough to make Tom feel a surge of hope. Jake was constantly in touch, advising him to hold on a little longer, that it was just a matter of time before the coin would really take off. Tom was thrilled. This was the beginning of something big. But then, the first warning signs appeared. Tom noticed that the price of the coin spiked at odd hours. At first, it seemed like the market was just volatile, but when Jake told him to buy more, Tom became more cautious. He asked Jake why the price seemed to shoot up only to fall back down almost immediately. Jake brushed it off, calling it normal market movement. The problem was that Jake didn't just seem like a helpful mentor. He seemed too eager to keep Tom buying, even when the signs of manipulation were becoming clearer. One evening, Tom's phone buzzed with a message from Jake. "This is it. This is the moment. The coin is about to skyrocket. I've already made a killing and I want you to be part of it." Jake sent a link to a live forum where a group of people were discussing the coin, talking about the next big pump. The thread was full of excited posts, each user claiming to have insider knowledge of an imminent price surge. Tom hesitated. Something didn't sit right. He'd heard of pumping before, how groups of traders would artificially inflate the price of a coin with fake hype to trick others into buying in before selling off at the top, leaving everyone else holding the bag when the price inevitably crashed. But Jake was insistent, sending him more proof of how this coin was poised for greatness. Reluctantly, Tom secured a high-interest loan of $10,000 online. The money was in his account within minutes. After a sleepless night of second-guessing himself, Tom finally gave in. He transferred the $10,000 into the platform and purchased more of the coin. He watched with a mix of excitement and dread as the price continued to rise, fueled by the coordinated hype in the forum. The next day, Jake sent him an urgent message. "The pump is on. Get ready to sell at the top." Tom's heart raced as the price hit new highs. He couldn't believe his luck. His $35,000 investment had grown to over $60,000 in just a few short weeks. But when he tried to sell, an error message popped up. Transaction failed. Insufficient liquidity. Tom's stomach dropped. His attempts to sell were blocked repeatedly. Meanwhile, the price began to plummet, crashing back down to nearly nothing. The hype had died, and so had the coin's value. His heart sank as he realized the worst. He had been scammed. Jake's messages stopped coming. The platform was now unresponsive, and Tom couldn't access his funds. Panic set in. What had seemed like an opportunity to secure his financial future had turned into a nightmare. Every penny of his $35,000 was gone, and the loan he'd taken out to buy more of the coin, at Jake's insistence, was now a financial anchor around his neck. Tom spent the next few days frantically trying to contact support, but the platform was unreachable. It wasn't until he took to social media that he discovered just how deep the scam ran. The Insider Forum Jake had sent him to was filled with fake accounts and paid promoters, all part of the pump-and-dump scheme. Tom's heart broke as he read the posts of other victims, many of them just like him, new investors looking for a way out of financial hardship, only to be left with nothing. The crypto world, which had once seemed like a golden opportunity, was now an unforgiving wasteland filled with manipulation and deceit. He reached out to a lawyer and attempted to get legal action started, but it felt like a lost cause. With no regulation and no clear way to track down those responsible, Tom was left with little more than a painful lesson. He had been a pawn in a game played by ruthless scammers who saw people like him as nothing more than targets. As the months went on, Tom kept paying off the loan, now burdened by a debt that would take years to clear. The scars of his loss ran deep, not just financially, but emotionally. He had trusted the wrong person. He had believed in the dream of easy money, and in the end all he had to show for it was a massive debt and a shattered sense of trust in the crypto world. In hindsight, Tom realized that the crypto space was full of dangers. Fake pumps, sniping, and scams that preyed on the naive and the desperate. He had been one of them, and the market had shown no mercy.